Hello, Livleen, Dr. Livleen Kahlon. She's joining us from New Delhi. She is a esteemed colleague and works on climate education strategies for India at TERI, which is a premier institution in India. Livleen, thank you for joining today, and really sorry that today is a holiday celebrating Guru Purab, and they're asking you to join and do this important call with us, especially with COP27 going on. And just for the audience, just want to mention that Dr. Livleen Kahlon has a long history of doing climate education work, and she joined TERI in the 2000s and wanted to focus on climate education, especially for the K-12 students. And so we'll get to hear from her on her trajectory, as well as Livleen, I want to ask you this question, since we don't have a lot of time to focus on COP27. All of these important world leaders are meeting at COP27, and we wanted to get a sense from you on India's strategy for COP27, especially as it pertains to climate education. And then also, what do you think about percolating this COP27 message into schools as well as in our communities?
Thank you, Dr. Radhika. That was a very, very I would say, inspiring introduction you have given for me. I hope I do not let down my audience and I keep up to the expectation. Dr. Radhika has put in so much of information in the question itself. So I'm quite sure that if I just sort of unravel the threads, I'll be able to communicate a lot to you. First of all, we are into COP27, and the world, there's a lot of expectation from the global community, and there are different words, there are different jargons which are being addressed to, and COP27 is a conglomeration of different types of people, different types of stakeholders. While we have our politicians, we have our decision makers right there, we also have the general public. We have a lot of youth at the COP this year, and this shows the momentum put in for this movement. COP is all about climate change action, and having in this range of stakeholders at this important forum says and testifies and that the world has actually awoken now to this problem. We are past that stage of skepticism when there was these twos and against, for and against climate change is happening, it's not happening, it's a scientific change, it will take care of itself. No, we have woken up to the fact now that we are into an Anthropocene era, and a lot of changes are being triggered by the actions being done by all of us, the global community. And I feel, and this is a message that I also give to the youth, to the citizens, to children, is that problems arise at a global level, but solutions come at a very, very local level. So India, as you know, is a land of diversity. We have so many states, we have languages, we have different type of education curriculum. This is a country which itself has a lot of curriculum split over different states across the country. But the solution comes from within. It's the local way of addressing a problem that will see a change. And when this changes happen at a local level, we should not cap them with a geographical boundary, that this is a solution. For example, if there is a solution found towards the depleting water table, or if there's a solution found to address the pollution level, these things need to be documented. And when these things get documented, promoted, spoken about across national boundaries, state boundaries, country boundaries, that is where a global awakening will happen. COP is an annual event. It has happened for so many years. I have a lot of faith in this event. It will again happen. But What happens the rest of the year is what is more important. And that is where, countries, I give a lot of weightage to my own country. I see that there is a lot of scope for a citizen level action, and this citizen level action can be done from the schools and colleges itself. In India, if we have a national education policy now, which gives a lot of flexibility for the schools and the educators to design a way of teaching where they can connect the students to the happening around them. The rote learning method, people are saying, is not the way to move ahead. We need to give them examples. We need to give them a lot of action research or hands-on experience. And that is again, these local examples connecting with the global happenings is something which is going to take us much, much ahead than a textbook. And with this, from TERI itself, I represent TERI. We have a session at the COP happening, which is the Future Climate Leaders session. And Dr. Radhika, this was a idea which took shape in a room, and it gives me goosebumps even to speak about it today, because it has grown in a very, very positive direction. There was just about 40 schools from one state of the nation who pitched in, and they believed that they need to be a part of this program. And right from that state, it has moved to a global session, is something that we take a lot of pride in. And here itself, this was again not a talk and learn method. We have given an opportunity for youth to experiment, find out and identify ways of addressing an environmental problem, and then list down, document how they have been able to reduce the carbon footprint. Once this documentation, this analytical concept comes into the classrooms, that is where the changes happen. I have a lot of faith in the teaching community. They can do wonders. But for them also, they need novel ways of speaking about to the students. And they are taking efforts to move out of the textbooks. Students are getting involved through projects like this, and the global community is recognizing the importance. So overall, a lot of faith is there in what is happening now. So let's hope, like over the years, we could even look at inter-country exchange of ideas. And COVID has taught us to be connected online. So we have schools, we have people across different nations. If we could connect the youth with the youth, and they are able to take the main stage of the entire discussion, it will lead to change. And the communities have adopted to change. We see a lot of things that are new, which we never thought of. Who would have thought that 3 years of in India, the schools were shut down, that the schools would be shut down, and the education would continue in an online mode. So students have adapted well to this change. They are looking forward to more experiences, and climate change education is going to grow in a big way. And even in India, like we have seen a transition. There was a conservation education era. We were learning in natural settings. Then we moved to environment education. Then there was education for sustainable development. Now we have a global education and citizenry development education. So, these transitions have happened. And though these are nomenclature changes, the learnings have been very, very important. One area where we feel we need to give schools an opportunity is to be able to document and show the changes that they have been involved in. And that is where I really look forward to more opportunities for these schools.
Dr. Livleen, it's such a pleasure to hear your thoughts, and also to think about where this whole area of climate education is going. And you bring in such an important part of citizen education and citizenry and global citizenship education, I think creating that grounds of movement, as you're suggesting, is clearly the way I also see making a big change. So in terms of COP27 message, my last question for you is, what should students expect? How can they make use of this global annual event, and how it can shape their own work going forward?
Students, my message to students is, please do not wait for any message to reach you. You have to carve your way. You have to find a way. You have to bulldoze the communities to look for answers. They are so, I am hopeful with the power of the youth. They have addressed so many issues in such well informed manner. Similarly, for this, the changes that they are happening around them, they have to ask us questions. If you say again, ask what the message would be, I will say that the students need to stand up and ask us questions, because once they ask us questions, we will have to respond with answers, and then it is very difficult for any policy maker, politician, NGO heads, anybody to move away, because every question requires an answer. So I would say the students have to become young scientists. They have to ask, they have to listen, and they have to imbibe through the learnings.
Thank you, Dr. Livleen. This was amazing to hear all your ideas and your messages, and some of them will always, I think, remain with me throughout my career and my work so far, that it is the students who are shaping education, and we think that it's the teachers and the education system, but whereas you are bringing up this new idea of students shaping climate education and demanding and waiting for no one. So thank you for this inspirational message, and I hope that we will have lots of students, lot of youngsters looking at your video and getting inspired and moving ahead with this climate education agenda. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Radhika. Have a good day.
Thank you.